Did Republicans sneak a provision into Trump's big, beautiful piece of shit bill that would give him the authority to cancel future elections? That's what I want to talk about here, because I know this is something that is being said a lot on social media. I've had people comment about this a lot in the comments to my videos. So it's out there and people are concerned about it. So let's talk about it. Now, the answer to that question is I don't know. I did not read this bill. Okay. I've read parts of it, but I didn't read the whole freaking thing. First of all, there was one version in the House. Then there was another version in the Senate. There may be yet another version in the House now. Who the hell knows? But these things are insanely long. I mean, Democrats did a procedure where they forced the bill to be read in the Senate, and it took some ungodly number of hours, like 12 hours or plus hours or something. I forget what it was. The point is, I'm not insane. I'm not going to read the whole freaking thing. I do have a life. And believe me, whatever you think I may make from my channel here on YouTube, it ain't enough for me to read that bill, okay? So I didn't read it. Full transparency. That having been said, I'm not worried about this because I can almost guarantee you that it's not in the bill. Why do I say that? Well, because there are a lot of people who have read it. Maybe not a lot of people who have read it, front to back themselves, but there are many groups who have read the whole thing, each person in the group taking a section of it. There are, staffs of senators and congresspersons who have, collectively together taking sections, read the whole thing. And I'm not talking about Trump cultist senators and representatives. I wouldn't trust them anyway. No, but I'm talking about, Democratic senators and congressmen and women who we would trust. For example, one person who has done great work on really poring over the minutia of this bill is Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut. He's done great work. He's been talking about this on social media a lot. He's been taking excerpts of the bill and talking about it. And he and his staff have gone through every inch of this bill. So I guarantee you, if that provision were in there, they would have found it. And if a provision like that would empower this dictator wannabe president to cancel elections, they would be all, Democrats would be all over media screaming about this, but they're not, because it's not in there. Can I personally guarantee you that it's not in there? No. But I can deduce from what we know the fact that it almost certainly is not in there. So I wouldn't lose sleep over this. That's number one. Number two, even if it was in there and somehow all these people missed it and it gets included in the final version and both houses pass it and it gets signed into law by the orange criminal, I still wouldn't be worried about it, because it would be so flagrantly unconstitutional that even this highly partisan and in many ways thoroughly corrupt Supreme Court would strike it down. No doubt about it. And it would be 9-0. Not even the detestable Sam Alito and Clarence Thomas would approve legislation that allowed the president to cancel future elections. It's just so absurd. There's no chance. And I know you're thinking, oh, you can't say that anymore. You can't say there's no chance. Way too many things have happened that nobody ever thought would happen that have now happened. And so we can't say there's no chance. Okay, maybe I shouldn't be that definitive about it, but I'm not worried about it. Okay, it's just no. Not even this Supreme Court would approve that. Okay, even if you give them Alito and Thomas, they're not doing it. Okay. And by the way, have you noticed on this Supreme Court that the two most corrupt members, Alito and Thomas, neither of them were appointed by Donald Trump. Trump had some lousy appointments, but even he did not appoint the worst. The worst were appointed by the two Bushes. George H.W. Bush appointed Thomas, and George W. Bush appointed Alito. Just interesting, because Trump's own appointees have ruled against him in some very important ways. It's the two Bush appointees who seem to back up Trump no matter what. So even if you give those two voting for, giving Trump the power to completely end democracy and just make this an absolute, just not even pretend anymore, dictatorship, you still don't get there. It still would be 7-2. So I am not worried about it. But finally, let me say this. I'm at the point where even if that was in there, or even if, and let's face it, if Trump wants to cancel future elections or stay in office after his term or any of that kind of stuff, he's going to do it, or at least try to, whether there's a law empowering him to do it or not. I mean, let's be honest. He doesn't need Congress to pass a law giving him authority illegally and flagrantly unconstitutionally to cancel future elections or to stay in office illegally after the expiration of his term. If he wants to do those things, he'll just do it, or attempt to do it. And I'm at the point where I got to be honest. I'm like, okay, bring it on. Let's just do it already. Because I don't think if Trump tried to cancel future elections or to stay in office illegally after his term ends, I don't think it's going to go the way he thinks it's going to go. And it seems to be a lot of people who bring this up. Anytime I talk about future elections, I always get a ton of comments going, "Oh, you're assuming there will be future elections." So it's like people just assume that, yes, it's just there's going to be no more elections or he'll never leave office. I'm not discounting the possibility that he will try either or both of those things. Absolutely not. We already saw him try to overthrow the republic by spearheading a criminal conspiracy culminating in a violent insurrection against the government that he incited for the express purpose of keeping himself in office illegally. So having seen that, there's nothing I put past him trying. But if he did try that, it's not going to go the way he thinks it's going to go, or that a lot of people apparently seem to think it's going to go. That he'll just say, "Oh, that's it. Elections are canceled," and everybody will just be like, "Okay, now we have dictatorship. Now there's no more elections. Now he's dictator for life." And that's just the end of it? No, it's not going to go like that at all. I don't know exactly how it'll go, but it ain't going to go like that. I can guarantee you. We're not going to just sit back and take that. And people aren't just going to be like, all right, I guess this is our new normal. No, we will be in, I don't know what it'll be. Will it be civil war? What? I don't know what exactly it will look like, but it will be constant. People aren't just going to accept that. And eventually it will end, I have no doubt, very, very badly for Donald Trump. And that's why I'm at the point where, okay, if this is what we're going to do, if this is what he's going to try, if he's really going to do this, I'd rather him just, let's get after it. Okay? Martial law is another one, which is not going to go the way people think it's going to go if he tries it. It's not even possible to use our military to impose martial law on the entire country. Maybe here or there, a certain city or something, he might try and might be able to do that for a time. But to lock down this vast country of over 330 million people, no, we don't even have the manpower in the military to do something like that. But anyway, the point is, if we're going to go down any of those roads, I say let's bring it on. And I understand some people might be hearing that and go, be careful what you wish for. That's really dangerous to be wishing for. Yeah, I don't wish for it. I'm saying if that's what he's going to do, I'd rather him bring it on sooner than later, because the longer it takes for him to get to that kind of stuff, the more he will have already softened this country up to accept that kind of thing. So the sooner he does something like that, the more of a jolt to the system it will be, the stronger the pushback. And this is a deeply unpopular man, okay? And even if you assume that Donald Trump legitimately won the last election, just for argument's sake, and there are many reasons to question the integrity of that election, but let's assume for argument's sake that he actually won it. If that election were held today all over again, right now, knowing what everybody knows now, there's not a fucking chance in hell he would win that election. This is a deeply unpopular and deeply detested and hated president. And look at the pushback he's gotten. Look at the No Kings protests, the protests everywhere. There's going to be more protests on Independence Day. There is real, serious, passionate opposition to this detestable piece of shit. And if he were to go down one of those roads, the pushback, he would not know what he's getting himself into. So if that's where we're going, bring it on. The sooner he does something like this, the sooner we could be rid of him. Because if he does any of that stuff, it's gonna end him. It's going to end his reign of terror. And so for that reason, I mean, I don't wish that on us for sure. But if that's where we're going, bring it on. The sooner, the better, because then let's have it out, because it's going to end badly for him, like I say. And the sooner it happens, the sooner we're rid of him. Maybe in the long run, it'll be better. But as to the initial issue I brought up, did Republicans put into this bill a provision that would allow him to cancel future elections? I don't know 100% certain with 100% certainty, but almost certainly no. And even if that were the case, I'm not worried about it, and you shouldn't be either. But we should be prepared for him to do virtually anything, whether Congress tries to give him the authority by sneaking some provision into a bill or not. He doesn't need Congress to approve something he wants to. He'll just do it, or at least try. And we need to be prepared for anything that this criminal might try to do. Anyway, that's it for now. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.